Iowa is now ground zero in America's abortion debate as hundreds gathered at the state capitol on Tuesday over a bill that would ban abortion after 6 weeks. After a marathon special session late last night, when Republicans thought you were sleeping, the Iowa legislature approved the bill, joining Georgia as a state that bans abortion before most people even know that they are pregnant. Republican Governor Kim Reynolds is expected to sign the bill on Friday. Here's a snippet of what happened during the 14-hour debate.
Everyone is free not to have sex. If they're not prepared to have a baby, they shouldn't have sex.
For the love of Pete, that's child abuse. We're standing here debating a bill to save babies, but yet we would put a 12-year-old, a 11-year-old, a 10-year-old through this? Give me a break.
Making abortions illegal is simply a sanctimonious, self-righteous form of violence against women.
The language is very confusing in the legislation, like how close to death does a woman have to be for me to intervene? I do not want a woman to die on my watch.
But it was gloves off for Des Moines resident Felicia Hilton, who minced no words when dragging Iowa Republicans for filth.
This is absolutely an offense to women. This is an offense to everybody. And it is offensive that you're going to go celebrate the oppression of women at a church. Church is not there.
It's been over 3 minutes.
It doesn't matter. This is a lie. You guys are lying to yourselves, and you're offending everyone, including God.
I am happy to let you have your say, but your say was 3 minutes.
I do not care. This state is ridiculous.
Joining me now is the woman you just heard, Felicia Hilton, a pro-choice supporter from Des Moines, Iowa, along with Dr. Emily Bavers, an OBGYN also in Iowa. Thank you both for being here. Ms. Felicia Hilton, I'm just going to let you talk more because we saw a little bit more of your remarks, and I know part of your issue, too, was that this supposedly pro-life state, the governor just signed a bill making it harder for people to get food, for people to get SNAP benefits. So they ain't that pro-life. So I'm going to let you talk. Go ahead and finish your thoughts that you had that they didn't want to let you finish.
Well, I mean, I think that there's a lot of things since I've moved here that, you know, it's almost like if you move anywhere, you want to make sure that where you're moving and relocating your family is a decent place. And when we first came in 2012, Barack Obama was the president. Iowa had, you know, moved forward in the caucuses supporting him. He won in 2012. He won the state, I think, by like 5 points. So we just, percentage points, we didn't think, you know, anything of it. I mean, it doesn't matter to us. We just thought that it would be a okay place to relocate for work. And ever since we've been here and they've had the trifecta, I think in 2017, it's just been, you know, every year it's worse and worse and worse. And, you know, what was really troubling to me is that SNAP bill, that eligibility bill, where they're, you know, going along with these outside groups that people need to have work requirements and prove all these things and be investigated over and over and over. And then taking away people's ability to be eligible for SNAP, which doesn't even come out of the state budget. Yeah. And so it was that, and then it was the fact that they didn't sign this child labor bill that they passed at the church. That bill allows for 16 and 17-year-old children to serve alcohol in bars because it serves food. I mean, oh, really? I mean, it's that type of hypocrisy, and it's just, you know, as someone who loves Jesus, but I'm not into his fan club. It's because you guys are showing through your actions that you don't believe the red letter text, as my grandma would say.
That's absolutely right. And
what he really said.
Amen. The red letter text is supposed to take care of the poor, the widows, the sick, the elderly, those in need, and they're doing the opposite. Jesus would have flipped the tables in that court, in that chamber. Dr. Bavers, I want to ask you how this is going to impact your service to humanity. What you do is so important as an OBGYN. Can you imagine how you're going to practice medicine in a state that says a 10-year-old has to get on the gurney and give birth to her rapist, let's say that's her father, her uncle's child, that she has to go through 9 months of that, how is a 10-year-old supposed to report this incest? Are they going to drive themselves to the police station? I don't think that's going to happen. Just talk about how this is going to impact your work.
Absolutely. So one of my colleagues said, I don't know any 10-year-olds who have read this bill, and they're not going to know that they have a 45-day limit on reporting a member of their family who's committing incest. They won't know that they have a 45-day limit on reporting a rape. Rape is already a traumatic event. There's a litany of research that shows that the reporting process and the investigative process makes it more traumatic. So this is just further penalization of women who are engaging in sex, as that legislator liked to say. Now, my patients are the ones who bear the burden of having unprotected intercourse or of a contraceptive failure. But men and women will never face the same consequences for those acts. My patients are paying the price. So, the care that I provide to women, I am trained as an obstetrician gynecologist, which is an expert in women's health. I provide full spectrum care to women, and I have the medical expertise to take care of my patients and counsel them on the medical options that are available to them in early pregnancy. When I meet a woman who's an early pregnant, they know what they want. They know in that early pregnancy, the decision that's right for their situation, whether it be economic considerations, relationship considerations, their current family, or their future aspirations. So my job is to take the best care of my patients that I can, and withholding abortion care is a deviation from the medical standard of care that is practiced in the United States and worldwide. The United States already lags in maternal morbidity and mortality, and Iowa, unfortunately, is already 50th out of 50 states for OBGYNs per capita. Unfortunately, this legislation is going to create a more difficult and hostile practice environment for the women's health providers here, and our patients will pay the price.
Yeah. And, Ms. Hilton, you said you moved there. Is this a place, number one, that you want to stay after this, or have your children stay? And the second thing I will note is that, Georgia has exactly this same kind of abortion ban, and the politicians there paid no price for it, even though the numbers show that there's been a disproportionate impact, particularly on women of color. Do you believe that people in Iowa that you now know will actually vote them out, as people were chanting there? Or if not, do you think people will start to leave?
I hope so. I hope people vote them out, because the Des Moines Register did a poll, and their polls are pretty accurate. And 61% of Iowans did not agree to taking away the right of abortion access. And I think that, the words that I said, I think that since I've moved here and I know the people of Iowa, they really are salt of the earth people. I mean, they just work every day. People with money, they have combines and land. It's not like you see Maseratis. There's no sports team, no tourism types of beaches and things like that. So the people here are really salt of the earth people. But I think seeing that 61% have absolutely said they believe that this access should be allowed, I'm hoping that, more people feel the passion that I felt, and that people that haven't been engaged politically become engaged politically, because what I can tell you is I'm not afraid of these people. And I'm not going anywhere. And that I think that they won't stop until we make them stop. And that's what we have to do. We have to make them stop. We're not going to stop till we make them.
And the only way to make them stop, the only thing politicians understand, is vote them out. That governor has to get reelected at some point, and so do all those state senators and state representatives. That's the power that you have. You can just get rid of them and make them unemployed. Felicia Hilton and Dr. Emily Bavers, thank you both. God bless, and good luck with what you're having to fight in the state of Iowa.